4, 5. Okay, sweet. Let's see what's going on here. Oops. All right, that's not good. Oh, I forgot to. 1 second, y'all. Okay, there we go. Okay, so, hey everybody. Welcome to Monday night. If you are watching this, it's because you know that this happens every week. Because I have done 0. Oh no. Oh, shucks, I didn't fix something. Okay, anyway, I have done 0 promotion for this, as far as creating any kind of buzz for it or any kind of thumbnail for it or anything like that. And that is because, if I'm being totally honest with you, I'm kind of going through, I'm about to make kind of a big change in my personal life. And that change is that I'm going to detox. I'm going to do a dopamine fast with alcohol for the next 30 days. And as part of my distraction from that, I do these wood projects. Some of you saw the couch that I built, and I have been building a bed frame. And it sounds so easy, but I have really enjoyed this process. And if I'm totally honest with you guys, it has preoccupied me between it and my regular job. So anyway, I did not spend any time on promoting the class. So if you're here, thank you. The last few weeks of class, there's Tara down there, by the way, and that's Rex. The last 2 weeks of class, we've had this cool thing that has happened. Hey, oh, by the way, hey, Lindsay, Anastasia, Carl, and Jackie, where people have made suggestions. Heidi, I think, was one of made a couple in a row, and it really it gave us something, gave me something to respond to, and I really feel like we had good classes out of that. And so I just want to encourage people, you guys, to make suggestions, and especially on a night like tonight. But I do have some ideas about where I want to go, but I, kind of like the flow. Like, there's a flow to teaching, and I'm sure you guys know that. And for me, my sense of flow always includes something else. Like, I'm flowing with something, right? And so what I miss about in-person classes is I could flow with people as a teacher, and I could experience their experience as teacher and student, because I'm doing it and taking it and teaching it at the same time. So if you have any requests, please let me know. Transition moves. So transition, Jennifer, you mean transition like from like on body to off body? And plus, anybody else that has a suggestion, please let me know. Tara, do you have anything to say? Okay. Okay. What I feel like having tonight is just a well-rounded HoopPath class. Oh. Wow. Okay. The skills test. Tara's not gonna like that one. All right, y'all. I forgot to green screen my couch, so it's gonna look a little janky in here tonight. I don't want to fuck with it too much. Okay, so we've got the skills test and transitions, on body to off body. Okay, that's pretty. Those two things can kind of work anyway. Anybody else have a request or a suggestion or anything? Even passing from hand to hand. Actually, maybe we'll warm up with some passing. I wish I had. Yeah. Let me back of the envelope this for you with you guys. All right, transitions, skills tests, and I think that's great, Sarah. Sarah, you're such a good commenter. Yeah. Well, the thing is, guys, is if we were in a local class together, we would be responding back and forth. Any teacher that doesn't listen to their students is not very good teacher. Just to be honest, I remember I used to get so insecure when I was teaching that I wouldn't look people in, I wouldn't look up. And then I realized that my not looking up as a teacher and observing them was hurting the class. It was hurting my ability to teach. It was hurting them because they didn't feel recognized by me or whatever. And it's all because I didn't want to make them feel weird, right? And I think I'm learning that a lot this week about how observation, however uncomfortable it can make you feel at the time, is so important, right? Self-observation, observation of others, all the things. Okay. Grounding and remembering to breathe. All right. Well, we'll start with that one. All right, cool. We're actually not doing that bad on time. So anyway, just keep shouting these suggestions, commenting these suggestions out if you have any. I think we're going to work off my iTunes tonight. Tara, wave to the fans there. And yeah, that was pretty good. Let's check this one. See, I think these are. There we go. Okay, cool. We didn't get a chance to check the cameras before class. Okay. Let's get going. I kind of want to feature. This will be good. I want to kind of feature a Joseph Campbell section that I think is pretty nice. It only goes on for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, but it's pretty nice, and you can just sway and stretch as you listen to it.
In India, there is a mood of world renunciation. Even though we can say that living in the world we are without ego, there is nevertheless a pathos of world renunciation in India. The Indian, as it were, wishes to identify himself with an eternal principle which remains still. And when you read the first aphorism of Indian yoga in the Yoga Sutras, it says, yoga is the intentional stopping of the spontaneous activity of the mind, making it stop, making it stand still, so that there's no ripple of life, and so that the glorious image of perfection shines through imperfection. Whereas in China and Japan, the attitude is rather roll with the world. The saying there is, let the thoughts come, let them move. The geese fly over the pond. Their image is reflected in the pond. The pond made no effort to grab the image. It made no effort to hold them. It comes, it goes. Let it pass that way. Now, in the Taoism of China, you have an attitude of finding the Tao by leaving society, going into the forest, going onto the mountains, and participating in nature. Union with the Tao of nature. In the world of Confucius, you have the idea of finding the Tao in society through a sincere enactment of traditional decorum in which a sentiment of fellow feeling is communicated and participated in. And it's through this that the human Tao is experienced, but always according to the rules of the Chinese family system, relationship of father to son, wife to husband, older brother to younger brother, and so forth.
Audible breath in. Audible breath in. of my favorite moments that visits me a lot from the My Dan stories is a portion of the story of Anae. And Anae was a giant little girl. Her father had been a giant and she was huge. By age 9, she was almost 7 feet tall. But her father had always been bigger than her. And he loved her very much. And unfortunately, he passes away. And then the people start to stare. Now, Anae, at 9 years old, is the biggest person wherever she goes. She begins to resent how big she is, and she acts out, and she's picked on, and she responds with violence. And the My Dan are called to go get her. Anae sends Saza, and though the story is long, Saza convinces Anae to return to the My Dan with her. And as Anae is walking behind Saza, making her way through the forest to the compound, she begins to feel the wind just rolling through the trees. She can hear the leaves clapping on each other. And as they walk and they see a clearing, and there are 30 or 40 beautiful human beings. Different shapes, sizes, and ages. And they've all got their eyes closed. And they're all moving with the same wind. Audible breath in. Saza looks over her shoulder and she beckons Anae in. Anae closes her eyes, she opens her hands, and she just feels. Breath in. earth as she did. One thing that's really helped me is to imagine my feet sinking just enough into the mud or into the surface that just rolling them and tilting them can control my whole body. Audible breath in. I love the stories of Anae. In fact, I think one way that we can talk about the skills test is to kind of talk about one of the stories of Anae, and just so I don't wear everybody out, Tara's had a big day. We'll just do this for like a song or two, but this will get us sort of towards the skills test a little bit. You okay with that? Okay. Okay. Actually, yeah. Let me stay here just for a second, because we're gonna do one. I'm gonna keep that music playing. We'll do one short one before we jump off at this. So go ahead and grab your hoop if you're ready to hoop. You're always allowed to not hoop, of course. Okay. So in our stories of Anae, our hero is, at the time that she comes to the Maidan, is about 9 years old, but she's giant. She's huge. Her dad was huge, right? And when I don't mean just huge, I mean like mythically huge. Comes to the Maidan, and she's feeling very awkward in her body. So for them to teach her how to hoop, or really just how to move at all, or like appreciate moving, discovery of movement, they had to really make her feel comfortable with her body, to really put her in it. And so they had noticed in Sway that she immediately took to feeling the wind with her hands. She loved it, and they thought that was a good thing. So when they placed the hoop in her hand the first time, they wanted her to move with the wind as well. And so what I want you to do, we're just going to do this as a warm-up exercise, but I want you to bounce back and forth and back and forth. If you haven't done this one before, I'm just grabbing my... I'll show you this in the bird's eye here, hopefully. Here we go. Okay. So with my right hand's holding the hoop, I bring it across, I reach in with my left. And I'm always reaching in front. Boom. And then I can get some extra pop on it if I want. And I can make contact, keep contact on the core. Boom. So then as I'm doing these movements now, I can imagine feeling the wind, and you can even open your hand as you're doing it to help you feel that wind. And then what I want you to do is just create windy moments, to create like that feeling of wind on your hand, and that means you don't have to stay here at all. In fact, I could turn with it. I can start to add turns into it. What will really help, is that as you're sort of moving into, as you're kind of moving into your flow with this, you're going to start turning more and more, right? Like your left and right are going to start to turn, and they're going to start to pivot. And in core hooping, and what we're just about to do, that turning and pivoting is often like sort of not thought about maybe enough, or neglected or forgotten about. And so what we're doing right now, even though we're going to move on to the core, is I am twisting and I am opening up my back. Let's see. And I'm going to shut up and let you guys sort of play with this. What can sometimes really help motivate you and inspire new movement is focusing on a sensation, focusing, like really focusing, on a sensation. Okay. Okay, this will work. All right. I hope this song doesn't get us kicked off Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, YouTube is always, watch where you want to watch, right? YouTube usually has a better picture quality, and they definitely don't kill the stream as much. So, okay. Verushka, I'm so glad you're here, or we're here. Okay, let's jump on the core here. And I'm not going to try to wear us out, because I kind of feel like jumping all around, but I want to borrow from the story of Anae again. Once Anae has passed the hoop back and forth, right? Then the Maidan, Anae wanted to teach her how to core hoop, of course. And she had awareness through her hands, but not so much on the core. And they felt like one of the reasons that she didn't feel it there was because she had so much angst towards her body or whatever. And so what Anae decided to do was walk her down into this crystal clear lake. And Anae didn't know how to swim, but Anae, convinced her it was safe. And they walk in, and they go about this high, about waist high. So you can imagine right now that you're in water that is waist high. And Anae is standing there. She's cold, but as she's standing there, her feet are sinking into the soft bottom of this lake. So I need you to imagine that. Imagine that, like, your feet are planting into squishy stuff there. This is the way we groove, we feel, we funk. And Anae says to her, she says, Anae, you are two very solid trees. And as she said that, Anae's feet opened up to the idea of being roots. And Anae said to her, she said, Anae, I want you to push forward towards me, forward. And she showed her kind of the motion. And Anae, reached back and pushed, this kind of motion. And she sent this giant wave to Anae, and her face lit up like the little girl she really was. And Anae said to her, she said, well, push to the right, and push to the left, and push behind. And Anae starts to do these movements. And as she's moving, the current of water starts to move around her. And Anae says to her, see, Anae, see, that's what your might can do. And Anae kind of seizes onto that strength idea, and she starts to whirl the water around her. She starts to roll the water around her. She starts to push it to the shore and let it bounce back to her.
You could be yourself. Be yourself. Be yourself. It's all about the way you dance.
Think about this water story, if you will. And then I want you to take the hoop wherever you want to go. You can go to anywhere on the core that you want to go. I'm going to keep it on the waist just because I'm feeling that.
Just dance, 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 dance. Now dance, baby. Just dance, baby. Dance, baby. You already know who I am.
The hoop's current is the surface of the water.
Look at me now. I'm shaking. I'm feeling the groove I got with you.
Beneath the hoop's current is water, so it's thicker to move through, and we need stronger. We have to use the big legs to move us around in that. Up here, above the water, right, the hands can just sort of fly and do whatever they want to do. So as Anae is learning to wrap water around her, Anae says, fly your hands, fly your hands. Now Tara just went to her shoulders. You can't see her yet. And I'm glad she did, because that's exactly where we're going. When I come up to the shoulders, my hands are swimming. I'm treading water, right? Like I'm underneath the water. And so this is why, like, if you're too locked up, if you're too tight, you can't really effectively shoulder hoop so much. If I'm imagining that I'm underneath, I'm Anae, and I'm underneath the water, and I'm swimming with my hands. I'm putting push on my hands. I don't want to get too sciencey or nerdy here, but imagine if you were hooping in water right now. See, imagine if you were hooping in water right now, and you felt a blast of wind come. Right, you felt this like this current of wind coming towards you. What I want you to imagine is that you feel it, and then you direct that force down into your roots at the lake bottom there, like down into the softness of that. So I'll show you an example of what I'm talking about. No, this is super exaggerated. This is more of a focus game. If I went like I'm imagining, and my body is helping sort of mimic it, but I'm imagining that I am basically channeling like whatever sort of wind gust I have going this way into my core, and then maybe back out again or wherever, or I can Actually, that might be a good one to play. Okay, actually, I think we can flow into that pretty quick. Let me bring me back on there. Okay. Actually, yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. I think this won't ruin the class. Okay, so let's get back to Anae for a second. She's in this lake. She's learning how to core hoop, essentially, right? So then when it's time for her to learn how to angle hoop, Anae, of course, has a lesson for her. So what she does is she takes Anae out to the same lake, and she starts to get her to laugh. Anae's very funny. I don't know what she was saying to Anae that made her laugh, but Anae, when she would laugh, she was this big, she was just this super huge, like generous, awesome heart, even as a 9-year-old. And so when she would laugh, it was like a big, just explosion of energy, right? And so Anae would get her tickled. She'd be in the water, she'd be swirling, and Anae would get her tickled, and she would lean back and she would just laugh because her stomach and belly and everything was just bouncing up into the air, right? And then sometimes, she would get cramps from laughing so hard from Anae that she would sort of splash the ground, the water beneath her as she was laughing. And Anae started to point out to her that she could create this downward motion. She could laugh so hard with her belly or whatever, her chest, that she was splashing the water. Or she could bounce up so much that she was shooting the water, in sky or earth, shooting the water up into the sky there. All right, so this is going to be our last core exercise. I don't think we're going to get all the way into the skill sets. I don't want to wear us all out. Now, here's what I want you to do. I don't want you to think about angles like this is something I need to work on. I want you to think about a 9-year-old Anae that just discovered that she can splash water by moving her body, right? So she's not worried about how it looks. She just wants to splash water all over the place as a young girl. So I'm imagining I'm her. I like bouncing it up into the sky. I like the way it looks, right? So I'm bouncing this water and pushing it up, right? Now, then when it's time to bring the hoop flat again, I wrap, right? I'm wrapping the water around me there. And if I want to send it to an angle, I'm kind of splashing it somehow. I'm either splashing it up or I'm splashing down or both. Okay, so this is a long song. I'm not cutting it off too much. But since I don't want to burn us out on core tonight alone, if you can shoulder hoop, this idea of splash can really change your shoulder hooping. So when you're shoulder hooping on an angle, if you think about splashing that water up, up and out, right? Getting real push that way, or downward push. I'm splashing the water with my shoulder blades, or I'm splashing it here. Earth, and what you'll learn is that with earth, sky, it won't matter, right? It's the same sort of boom, boom, boom. I'll show you what I mean just and then I'll stop talking. If I'm here and I want to, like I'm shoulder deep in water, but I still want to create a splash, right? So I'm just going to sort of get out over the hoop however I can. And I'm going to splash the water down here. It's like boom, 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 boom. I'm putting downward push. This is if I put upward push, and I don't know if it makes a difference. I don't know if you can see a difference. It doesn't feel so different to me, but this is me pushing down. This is me pushing up. Come up. Get another angle here. This is me pushing down. This is me pushing up. It feels different. I don't know if it looks any different.
She went down to Holly Springs. Razadon and Baba, they went down to Peachtree. Headliner, I challenge you to a game of horseshoes. A game of horseshoes.
Now I see the importance of history. While my people be in the mess that they be. Many journeys to freedom made in vain by brothers on the corner playing ghetto games. I ask you, Lord, why you enlighten me without the enlightenment of all my folks. Instead, cause I set myself on a quest for truth, and he was there to quench my thirst. But I am still thirsty. But I am still thirsty. But I am still thirsty.
So what Lisa was referring to is the skills test where you move through all the different angles. And we're not going to do that tonight. I've tried to do a skills test class and got taken down because of music. It's the only time that's happened. And I'll do another one where we go through the entire skill set or skills test. That being said, all of these skills that we're working on will help you make it through. Basically, just depending on what kind of mood I was in, it was shoulders both, well, waist both current, shoulders both current, chest both current, angles both current, angles on all those three places, and then seated shoulders is usually how we would finish. No, Lisa, I love the suggestion. You guys are great. Oh, we haven't talked about transitions. Oh, shucks. Okay, we are going to talk about some transitions right now. That's good. Oh, wow. Okay, Jennifer, don't get mad at me. I think we can squeeze this in. Okay, so we'll do just a couple of these. Although I'll be honest with you, I can't really say that I like keep a list of these or anything. And we've done a lot of the ones that I might show you now. But let's just start with some basics, and then we'll kind of, well, not basics, but we'll just start with some of the more obvious ones. One of the cool one of the cool transitions that most people do, and this is more concept, it's really easy to do it, but it's to stop the hoop in a PM break and then do a contact fold out of that. And then you can use that same move as a way to re-enter the hoop as well. I'm just doing a bunch of them right now so you can sort of see what I'm talking about. If you don't, most people probably, I just want to make sure we're all in the same transition is just to grab it in samurai, which is something we do. I'll try to, Jennifer, honestly, I'm trying to look through my hoop memory to think of something that I haven't already taught. So excuse me if this is a lot of repetition. I'm not really sure, but samurai, the push samurai grip is a great way to get the transition from on body and off body fast. So I'm here, and I just push my hands out into the hoop as I'm gripping them, and then I'm in samurai, and I can just stop the hoop immediately. And then the moment that I do that, I can play with where people thought I was going or whatever. And of course, I can, once I'm in double samurai, I can put, nice tee. If we had a director, they would have cut over to you. Let's see, what else? The samurai stall is, maybe this is obvious, but the samurai stall is a fun transition. It took me forever to get used to being able to spin, but this would be a samurai stall, as a transition. I'm on the shoulders, I'm rocking out, and I'm just going to grip it, but turn with it. So I'm not creating this immediate samurai break or anything. And then I stop and slow up or whatever it is I'm going to do. Yeah, clunkiness for sure. Jennifer, I want you're so awesome. You show up every class. Let me think about this a little bit more. If there's a way I can more succinctly teach some of these, what will feel like transitions to you. Okay. Oops. All right. I think we're pretty much nearing the end here. Actually, that might be a good song to end on. Not as a free hoop, but as an exercise. And I think we should talk a little bit about rolling, because I think this kind of all might connect for you. We've been doing a lot of core hooping. This will get the hoop off of your core. And all I want you to focus on really is just keeping the hoop rolling. And in your mind, just, in your mind, just knowing that this is sort of the end of class.
Sem chegar, dizer adeus, invadida pela voz do teu silêncio.
If you haven't done it before, winding down from a hoop session with those passes that we do, those away passes, can be so good. Just a little reminder, if I'm here, I'm doing something like this.
Sem querer desconseguida, esquecida na partida encontrada, sem asas voando, pairando no ar, tua lua. Esta sede é minha água, esta fome me alimenta de beleza tua, de beleza nua.
So, some of you have been with me since the lockdown started, a lot of you actually. And, you know, as your gentle teacher, I really recommend starting to let go of the hoop. And I'm saying it this way because I know y'all have been hooping with me. And the teacher in me wants you to know that you have developed, even if you only hoop in this class, you're developing better reflexes and skills than your memory might remember. And so you can start to do, if you haven't already, you can start to do more crazy stuff. You've gotten better, and your brain might be protecting you like, oh, I don't want to smash this, or I don't want to send the hoop or look silly or whatever. Usually by now you guys are probably thinking more damage, physical damage. But let go, start to trust the body a little bit. You'll be surprised. Like, the reason I bring this up is that as I'm doing this rolling, I can start to trust my tosses a little bit more, right? I can start to trust that maybe I can send it to my back, right? Like maybe I can do that. Maybe like I've been telling myself I'm not ready, and as your teacher of a year and a half, 2 years, you're ready. You're ready to start doing stuff, and maybe you break a lamp or whatever, but you've gotten better than you might realize.
Criatura de boa formosura. Esta sede é minha água, é minha fome que tá matando fome de beleza tua, de boa criatura, de beleza tua.
Beautiful, Lisa. Thank you.
Formosura.
Okay. All right, we are definitely at free hoop time. I don't know if anybody is still here. If you are, thank you. I'm pretty sure we've already been kicked off of Facebook, so we may just, what do you think? You want to chill it out a little bit and call it a night? All right. This is one of my favorite covers. This is a super slow song, but it's one of my favorite covers. This will be sort of a slow, stretchy number for us all. Anastasia. Thank you, Claire. Thank you, Carla. Good night, y'all. This is the Free Hoop that play a song.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues. Let's dance to a song that's playing on the radio. Let's sway while color lights up your face. Let's sway through the crowd to an empty space. And if you say run, I'll run with you. And if you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like flowers.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Jackie.
Let's dance, for fear your grace should fall. Let's dance, for fear that life is all. Or let's sway. You could look into my eyes. Let's sway under the moonlight, the serious moonlight. And if you say run, I'll run with you. If you say hide, we'll hide. Because my love for you would break my heart in two. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like flowers. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like flowers. If you should fall into my arms and tremble like flowers.